YouTube, what's going on, family? Welcome back to another video. So today I was going to talk about why I took my kill switch, which is sitting right here in the passenger seat, along with an alarm, a horn. So the reason I took it out is because it was pissing me the fuck off. So if you're wondering which kill switch it is, it's the CompuStar. I forget what version it is. It's one of the latest versions. But yeah, so I had it on this truck for about almost 3 months. I had it installed, and I never really had an issue with it until the weather started getting warmer. So what happened was, back in June, early June, I went somewhere and I literally hopped out for not even 10 minutes, and I locked it just like how I always usually lock it, you know, with the kill switch remote, yada yada, all that stuff. And then I go out to the truck and I'm locked out. You know, it won't even let me inside the car, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? So I try to retrace and redo everything, you know, all over again, and then bam, still nothing. So at this point I'm getting like a little frustrated, and it's the first time it ever happened to me, but it was always like one of my biggest fears, like, what if this shit just locks me out somewhere? What if I'm far away and it locks me out? Or what if I'm with my, you know, my wife and my son, and I'm out somewhere and it happens, and, you know, I'm basically stranded. Damn, I got no gas, I just realized that. But yeah, so once it happened and I couldn't, you know, finally got inside the car after several attempts, but it wouldn't start. The brake pedal was like rock hard, and yeah, I was getting really annoyed, and it was hot as shit outside too. So I called the dude who installed it for me. It's a nice SRT 300 right there with some ugly ass wheels, but whatever. And yeah, I called the guy that did the kill switch for me and the alarm, and I'm like, hey man, you know, X, Y, and Z, and he's like, oh, it's probably something wrong with your car, man. It's not, you know, anything with what I did or the kill switch. And I was like, all right, I'm just giving you a heads up. I was like, I just think that might be the issue. So he's like, all right, we'll see if it is. If it is, you know, we'll figure it out. So after like half an hour of trying to mess around with it or whatever, still nothing. Like, the car was just stuck. It was a brick. And I called my cousin. My cousin's a tow truck. He has a tow truck company, and he operates by himself. So I called him up, and he's an expert car whiz too, because he was a mechanic for years, and he knows everything about cars, and I always trust him when it comes to anything like this. So instantly called him, and I'm like, hey bro, I'm in this situation, X, Y, and Z. And he said, oh yeah, it's probably your kill switch fucking up. He's like, sometimes when it's hot outside they get tricked out a little bit. So I was like, okay, great. I'm like, this dude's trying to deny that it was the kill switch or whatever, the guy who installed it. So my cousin told me, if you can't get it started, just let me know, and then, you know, I'll come tow it to your house or wherever you want me to tow it to. So I was like, I'll probably just get it towed to the dealer, because at this point nothing was working. So he finally comes, like after an hour and a half. I get it towed to the dealership. Dealership was closed, it was a Sunday. Next day they go to take a look at it, and they're like, yo, it started up right away with no problems. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, like, we're using the kill switch remote correctly and everything. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I do it the same exact way. I do it every single time. And he's like, yeah, well, it worked. So I was like, okay, maybe, I guess since it rested for a little bit, it decided to just act normal. And yeah, that was that. So I picked it up the same day, and then of course everything was back to normal. I would use the remote, which is right here. So you would press this to unlock it, lock, whatever. So I used that, and yeah, everything was normal. Until a week later. So this was the second time it happened. I was out at the gym, bam, getting a good workout in, nice day outside. Now I go out to the truck, same thing, try to go start it, brake pedals rock hard, and it would not want to start. At this point, I was just like, man, I was like, I want this fucking kill switch off, man. Like, that's it. I was already fed up with it. So, messing around with the same issue. This time it was a little bit worse because it was a little bit later on in the day. And then my cousin that, you know, helped me out last time and towed it to my house, he wasn't available. But luckily I had another guy, you know, another relative of mine who has a tow truck as well. And I called him up. I was like, hey, man, I was like, I need a tow. I was like, I got my Jeep stuck at the, you know what could happen. So he's like, listen, I'm kind of busy, and it was around 6 p.m. when I called him. He's like, I won't be around till maybe 11:30 p.m. And I was like, oh man, the gym closes at 8. There is surveillance cameras and stuff like that too, but still, you just don't want to risk it. So luckily he ended up showing up at 11:30 at night. I was just so paranoid going and checking on the car like every hour, because I live literally 5 minutes. I live not even 5 minutes from the gym, so driving wise. Walking wise, it's about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. So finally, I left the car there. I had my Apple AirTag on there. I had my steering wheel lock on there too as well. And I just, you know, prayed that nothing would happen to it. And, you know, God protected it, and we scooped it up. Well, he scooped it up at 11:45 at night, and it was pouring rain that night too. I felt terrible. And he tows it to the back of my house, and the back of my house is pretty tight. And this thing was still completely dead. It didn't want to start, nothing like that whatsoever. And he even had a hard time trying to pull it into the parking space that I usually park it in before I park it in the garage, because everything was locked up. So he had to dolly it in, and finally we got it in, but it was a nightmare, and it was pouring rain, and I never wanted to go through that ever again. So the next day I called the guy who put the kill switch in, and I said, yo buddy, I want to get this thing the fuck out of here. And he said, are you sure, man? I really think it's something wrong with your car, man, and blah, blah, man. And I'm like, nah, man, it ain't that. You know, like, I want to take that out. And then, yeah, we yanked it out about almost a month ago, actually. And, well, 3 weeks ago. And, yeah, everything's been perfectly fine. It starts up every time, you know, like it should. And I never have any issues. I haven't been stranded yet. I hope God never, you know, lets me get stranded in this thing, because I don't want to, but yeah, that was my adventure with the kill switch. So right now, I mean, I got my Apple AirTag, got a gun, I got the steering wheel lock that I use, and I'll probably mess around with some other kill switch later on. And I got my garage. You know, I don't really go anywhere sketchy with this thing, and I always try to blend it in parking spaces. I don't try to park it far away, so that way, you know, it sticks out and somebody could see it. You know, so I'm pretty cautious with this versus my last Jeep, which was the Trackhawk, which that's a story for another time. But yeah, guys, that's my story with the kill switch. So like and subscribe for more content. I'm going to be pushing out more videos talking about more stuff, Jeep SRT wise, Trackhawk wise, all that stuff. And yeah, stay tuned, man. I would love if you guys subscribe if you're watching. I'll only get better at this. I'm still new, so, you know, help a brother out. I want to, you know, entertain you guys and educate you guys with things. And if there's anything you guys want to see too, let me know in the comments. So like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys till the next video.